Some horror stories end with answers. These don't. They end with silence, with rooms left exactly as they were, with phones that stopped ringing mid-sentence, with doors found open even though no one remembers opening them. Tonight, you're going to hear 5 true stories. Each one began like any ordinary day, routine, familiar, safe. And each one crossed a line that was never meant to be crossed. There were witnesses, there were records, there was evidence left behind, but no explanations. In every case, something happened that could not be undone. A moment where fear arrived quietly, without warning, and by the time anyone understood what was wrong, it was already too late. You'll hear voices that vanished, places that refuse to stay empty, and events that still don't make sense even after years of investigation. These stories aren't told to shock you. They're told because they happened, and because the people at the center of them never got closure. As you listen, pay attention to the details, the pauses, the choices that seemed small at the time, and ask yourself, if you had been there, if you had heard what they heard, if you had felt that first moment when something was off, what would you have done? Because once you hear these stories, the quiet around you may not feel the same again. Story 1. The Last Call. The road sleeps under sodium lights and unshared memories. A small town exhales after midnight, pretending nothing ever waits. Her headlights carve a narrow future through empty pavement ahead. She drives with the radio low, listening for reasons to hurry. The dashboard clock blinks like it keeps a secret. Tires hum a lonely promise meant for nobody listening. Every storefront passes like a closed eye. She knows these streets by heart until tonight questions them. The mirror asks for attention more often than comfort. She checks it once, then twice, then believes it less. Darkness gathers distance behind her rear bumper. A second set of lights feels closer than memory allows. Her grip tightens until knuckles lose their warmth. Breath becomes counted, measured, quietly rehearsed. She tells herself she is tired, nothing more. The road curves gently, refusing reassurance. Her phone feels heavier than it should. She dials a number she trusts by muscle memory. The ringing stretches longer than expected. Her voice arrives calm and leaves quickly. She says someone is behind her, matching every turn. She laughs once, a weak attempt at daylight. The laugh disappears before it lands. Words stumble over each other, trying to escape first. Her sentences shorten as fear edits them down. She asks if she should keep driving. The mirror flashes again with borrowed headlights. Her breathing grows loud enough to hear. Static creeps into the call like a warning. She says her location, then corrects herself twice. The road sign blurs past unread. Her voice sharpens, then thins, then fractures. A sound cuts through that is not her voice. The line drops into a hollow silence. No goodbye survives the moment. Later, the road looks ordinary again. Her car rests where urgency once lived. The engine remains warm against the cold night air. Headlights point forward, still expecting her return. Doors stay closed, patient and untouched. Keys are gone without explanation. The phone screen lights the darkness alone. No marks argue with the gravel. No answers volunteer themselves to the quiet. The town wakes unchanged, pretending this never happened. The road keeps its secret without effort. Do you think someone was really there, or was something else following her? Story 2. The room that should have been empty. I remember the motel glowing tiredly beneath buzzing lights and a sky without stars. Cheap paint peeled like old scabs along the hallway's walls. We were passing through, chasing sleep more than comfort. One night, one key, One room with a view of asphalt. The clerk barely looked up while sliding the key across. His silence felt heavier than the stale air. The room smelled of bleach and long departures. Wallpaper curled away, revealing older colors beneath. A bed sagged in the middle as it remembered too much. Outside, engines sighed and vanished into the distance. We told ourselves exhaustion explains everything eventually. Above us, footsteps tapped once, then again. Slow, deliberate steps tracing the ceiling directly overhead. We froze, counting floors we already knew. Top floor, last room, nothing is supposed to be above. I listened harder, breath shallow, heart tapping louder. The footsteps stopped, then dragged slightly. A sound like nails grazing wood followed. Scratching moved back and forth, searching patiently. The walls seemed thinner with every second. Next door, furniture shifted with dull resistance. Something heavy slid, paused, then scraped again. No voices followed, only effort and intent. The silence afterwards pressed against my ears. I called the front desk with shaking hands. My voice sounded smaller than the problem. Police arrived with radios murmuring reassurance. Keys rattled as they approached the neighboring door. The door creaked open with a tired complaint. Flashlights cut through dust suspended like fog. The officer frowned, checking his clipboard twice. That room was never rented, not recently, not before. He said years had passed since anyone stayed there. Inside, dust lay disturbed in uneven paths. Handprints smeared the walls at shoulder height. The air felt used, as someone had just left. We packed without speaking, bags bumping walls. The hallway felt longer on the way out. I never looked back at that door. Even now, I wonder what listens when rooms wait. Would you have stayed the night or left immediately? Story 3. The voices from the baby monitor. The first sound came before fear learned its name. It slipped through static like a thought I never invited. Our house was quiet in that suburban midnight way. New paint, new routines, new exhaustion holding us upright. The nursery waited in darkness, breathing softly with machines. I stood there listening, convinced it was interference. Then a voice shaped itself inside the noise. An adult voice, unfamiliar, calm, too close to ignore. I asked my partner if they heard it too. The monitor answered before they did. It reacted, adjusting volume as if listening back. We spoke cautiously, like guests inside our own home. The voice replied, bending our words into responses. Laughter arrived later, thin and misplaced in the hallway. It drifted from the monitor after midnight, playful and wrong. Sleep became impossible with that sound sharing the dark. Every whisper made the walls feel closer together. I watched the screen glow like an open eye. Static pulsed, then settled into deliberate quiet. The recording played back a moment I still avoid. A voice leaned in and whispered our child's name. No urgency, no threat, just ownership implied. Police searched rooms, closets, and crawl spaces, finding nothing human. They blamed electronics, frequencies crossing paths at night. After they left, the monitor powered itself on. The nursery glowed again without anyone having to touch a button. I realized fear changes when it knows your child. Home stopped feeling private the moment voices remembered us. Even now, silence there feels like someone holding breath. Could this be interference or something much darker?